have always been a thrilling genre of entertainment. Stepping outside of your everyday life to sit at the edge of your seat and watch some of your worst nightmares play out in front of you can be considered thrilling. But some stories aren't just movies. The Girl Next Door was a story about two teenage girls that were taken in by a family friend and tragically tortured and murdered at the hands of her caretaker. What's even more disturbing is that it's based on a real life and a real murder. It was the murder of Sylvia Likens. Sylvia Likens was the third eldest of 5 children to Lester and Elizabeth Likens, who were 2 carnival workers who had a hard time living and raising their children with the schedule they had with the carnival. They eventually decided to leave Sylvia and her sister, Jenny, in the care of Gertrude Benezuski, a friend of the couple who offered to take care of the 2 girls while their parents were on the road. And the parents agreed to send $20 every week for the care of the 2 girls. After a short amount of time, the payment stopped coming. When this happened, she began torturing the 2 girls in retaliation. But sadly, Sylvia was the one out of the 2 that received the worst treatment and was beaten by not only Gertrude, but by her own children, along with the neighborhood children. After a certain amount of time, Sylvia succumbed to her injuries and passed away on October 26. Gertrude and some of the teenagers were convicted of Sylvia's murder. Steven Spielberg's classic 1975 hit film Jaws has given a thrill to generation after generation. It was the story of a deadly shark that terrorized the beaches of the small New England town, Amity Island. Now, although there is no direct real story that the film is based on, many say that it was inspired by the shark attacks at the resort town of Beach Haven in New Jersey in 1916. It was the 4th of July weekend when the vicious shark attacked 23-year-old Charles Epting, who was on vacation at the Eagleside Hotel along with his family. He decided to go for a swim when he was attacked, and although he was rescued, he died shortly after. But even after the attack, the beach remained open along the Jersey shore, and 4 other victims were attacked, one being 11-year-old Lester Stilwell, who went swimming with a couple of friends when he was dragged under the water and mauled by a shark. When the boys rushed to town for help, the first to arrive back to the scene was 24-year-old Stanley Fisher, who was a local tailor. He attempted to rescue the boy, but ended up being attacked himself and later died as well. Not long after, on the same day, not far down the stream, another group of boys were playing in the water, and one of the boys was attacked, but survived and only lost a leg from it. After these attacks, it sent the town into rage. They organized and started a manhunt for the shark, using guns and dynamite. But even with the efforts of the townspeople, the shark got away. This chilling 1974 horror told the story of Ezra Cobb, a middle-aged man who was considered a serial killer that murdered people in the community and robbed graves after the loss of his parent. The character of Ezra Cobb was based on Ed Gein, a very well-known serial killer in the late 1950s. Now, even though Ed Gein was technically not a serial killer, being that he only killed 2 people, he became known for not just taking 2 lives, but also collecting the remains, and created a mask using the skin of the victims. Ed Gein was the inspiration for many other horror films, such as Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Psycho, and Silence of the Lambs. Filmmaker Wes Craven debuted The Hills Have Eyes. It's the story of an inbred mutant family trapped in the Nevada desert that terrorized and tortured anyone who dared drive through the mountains. The story was taken to another level with the 2006 remake. But the most disturbing thing about this movie is that it's not just a movie. It's based on a real story, the story of the Swanee family. Alexander Swanee Bean was the son of a landscaper in Scotland in the late 15th century. Preferring not to follow down the same path as his father, he married a woman named Agnes Douglas and moved his family to the coastal cave in Benane Head. The two produced 6 daughters, 8 sons, 14 granddaughters, and 18 grandsons. The family lived in the cave secluded from people on the outside. But since Swanee didn't have a particular trade, he had to find a way to cater to the needs of his family. So he and some of his other family members decided to set up traps and planned ambushes at night to rob and murder individuals or small groups. Once they captured the people, they would take them back into their cave and murder them, along with dismembering their corpse, and would feed on them. They would get rid of the extra that they didn't want, and they were so good at being secretive, the villages nearby would think that it was animals that were attacking people. They were known to have murdered close to 1,000 people over a span of 25 years. Thank you for joining me for another Mystery Addict video. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below about the stories that I told today. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on your post notifications so that you'll know the next time that I upload. And as always, stay weird. Normal's overrated.